Hi, this is David McGidd from TashMart. Today I'm going to be showing you how to install a natural stone vessel sink. Installing a vessel sink is easier than you might think. This is a TashMart brushed, chiseled beige marble vessel sink. It weighs about 40 pounds. And some of the tools that you're going to need for installation are some set of channel locks or a pipe wrench. You're going to need a special pop-up drain or strainer vane special for vessel sinks. You're going to want a non-staining plumber's putty. It's important that it be non-staining because you don't want it to stain the travertine or the marble. Then at the end you probably want some sort of caulk that is similar color to the vessel sink that you're installing. Okay, so on this particular project, this is a remodel, so the hole has actually already been cut for a vessel sink. So the vessel sink hole should be 1 3/4 inches, which is also the same size as the hole for the vessel sink. Okay, so if you haven't already cut the hole, you're going to want to make sure that you line it up centered with your faucet. You also want to center it with the base cabinet that it's going to go over. It's easier to install the faucet first, just so you have more room to install the actual vessel sink. So once your hole is drilled, you're basically going to set the vessel sink right over the hole. Then you're going to proceed to install the pop-up drain. For vessel sinks, or for stone vessel sinks, you don't need any type of mounting ring. The actual weight of the stone plus the surface area that's on the countertop doesn't really require any type of mounting mechanism. The weight of the sink and the actual drain itself actually hold the sink in place. So your next step is going to be to install the pop-up drain. So again, what you're going to do, there's different pieces to it. So I took off some of the rubber gaskets that are going to go underneath the sink. So the drain is sitting here by itself. And then you're basically going to put the drain through the hole. Next, you're going to want to take again, a non-staining plumber's putty. And again, it's important that it be non-staining because you don't want to actually stain your vessel sink. So what you want to do is get a little bit of the plumber's putty and basically mold it into kind of shape of a worm. And then you're going to take the plumber's putty and basically put it around the edge of the pop-up drain, getting it all the way around. So obviously when you put this in, it's going to flatten out a little bit and it's going to provide that seal so no water gets under the drain. So next you're going to take your pop-up drain and you're going to put it through the hole. Press down firmly so that the putty goes into place. So you want to make sure that that goes down. You want to make sure that the putty has contact everywhere around the stone, so again that it doesn't leak underneath the vessel. Next, from underneath the countertop, you're going to want to put in the nut to tighten the drain into place. You want to make sure that there's usually like a plastic washer that goes right above the brass fitting. And then sometimes there'll also be other gaskets that you'll also put to just make sure that there's no water that leaks through the drain. So from underneath the counter, you're basically going to tighten this brass fitting. Tighten as much as you can with your hand. And then for the last part, you're going to have to use those channel locks or a pipe wrench to tighten it completely into place. After you're done tightening the drain from the bottom, you want to come up and make sure that you wipe off some of the excess putty that might have come up while you tightened the drain. Your next step is going to be to connect this pipe that comes also with your drain. You're going to make sure that it also has a gasket inside to prevent it from leaking. So from under the sink again, what I'm going to do is move my P-trap a little bit, and I'm going to thread the extension pipe here on the end of this thread. So you're going to want to tighten it as much as you can with your hand. And probably with the channel locks you tighten it a little bit more, but you don't need it to be too tight. The last step is to connect your drain to the existing plumbing. So this piece actually was already on the plumbing that I took off. So the first thing is it has kind of like washer that you can turn. There's a little rubber nut that's inside, or washer, excuse me. So you want to put that back thread through the pipe. Then you want to push your PVC piping down and then into the pipe. And you want to push down this rubber gasket all the way into the pipe to create a good seal. And then once it's there close, you're going to take and thread the pipe on and just tighten hand tighten this one. Doesn't need to use any type of special tools. And once it's hand tightened, you should be good to go. Okay, so once everything's connected, your next natural hesitation is going to be to turn on the water and test it out, but you really want to let your putty set for a couple hours before you start running the water. So next what you're going to do is to put some caulking around the bottom surface of the vessel sinks just to make sure that no water gets underneath the sink. So you want to use some sort of caulking for kitchen and bathroom that matches the color of your vessel sink. So usually they come in like an almond, bisque color, or white if you're using like a white marble. So you're going to apply it at about a 45-degree angle. You don't want to put too much in there. You don't want it to be too noticeable. So you basically apply it, and a lot of times you can use your finger or some type of application sponge to wipe off some of the excess. So one of the final steps, we're going to be sealing the vessel sink. So it's recommended that after you install the vessel sink, and about once every 2 years, you should reseal your sink. There's two different types of sealers that you can purchase from any local hardware store. So the sealers are typically for marble, travertine, granite. So there's impregnating sealers and topical sealers. Impregnating sealers seal from within. They actually seep into the pores of the sink and then kind of seal from within the stone. Topical sealers kind of create a film over the outside edge. The impregnating sealers are typically a little bit better, but they do have somewhat harsher chemicals, so you want to make sure that you've got good ventilation when you are applying the impregnating sealers. So this is an example of an impregnating sealer. So what you're going to do is first use a glove, and when you read the instructions they recommend like a mop or a sponge because it's usually for people that are applying it to very large areas like countertops or floors. But since this is such a small area, I actually just like to use a paper towel that's been folded a couple ways. So we're going to go ahead now and apply the sealer. You're going to apply a thin, even layer of the sealer all throughout the stone part that you want to seal. So again, I put some of the sealer on this cloth, and I'm just going to kind of wipe it all over the surfaces of the sink. Just make sure you get a good even coat throughout, and don't put it on too thick. Really doesn't take that much. You can also, what you can do is once you put the first coat on, just wait about an hour or so. You can actually apply a second coat just for extra protection. Okay, so once you've given your sink an hour or so for the sealer to dry, and you also want to make sure that the putty is dry, you're now able to start running water. So you want to make sure that the sink is draining properly. You probably also want to check your plumbing underneath the countertop just to make sure that there is nothing leaking. You might have to tighten some things if they are. So again, this has been David Begid with TashMart. Thank you for watching our video. If you have more questions, feel free to visit us at www.tashmart.com. You can also browse our large inventory of natural stone vessel sinks from marble, travertine, limestone, and onyx. Thank you very much.